Swifty Foundation began when we knew Michael's life was coming to an end. We knew that the cancer was going to eventually take his life from him. And so Patty and I talked and decided that we would invite Michael to start a foundation.
Al originally brought it up to me. He had said, what do you think about taking the money that we would have invested in Michael's future as far as education and a home or a business that he would want to, a farm if it would have been his choice, to take that money that we would have used for him and give him a choice of how to spend that money in a way that would make him feel like he was doing the help that he thought he would do in his life. So he always said, I just want to make a difference. I want to make a difference. You know, my life what's my life going to mean? You know, I'm going to die so young. It's not going to even matter. And so that, as a parent, that breaks your heart. So we tried to find a way that he could still make that difference.
The last 3 years of Michael's life while he was living with cancer, he was very engaged in raising money to find the cure for cancer. And he got a lot of his friends involved and certainly all of his family involved in the American Cancer Society, specifically their Relay for Life, which is a wonderful event and it's a great organization. What we came to find, though, was that less than $1 of every $100 raised for the American Cancer Society actually goes to benefit kids who are living with cancer. And so that was a big wake-up call for us, and one of the reasons why the Swifty Foundation and Michael's mission to fund pediatric cancer research is just so very important.
You think all the money that you're giving is going right to the cause, and what it ends up going towards is, you know, electricity or postage stamps, I don't know, which is all necessary and it has to happen, but it's not the meat of it. And so we've become very mindful of knowing the impact that our dollars are having.
All the money that the Swifty Foundation receives, 100% of those dollars collected are dispersed to the missions around cancer research. And the reason that we're able to do that is my wife and I have chosen to cover all the administrative costs of the foundation.
One of the times we went to Dr. Scholler at Helen DeVos Children's Hospital, she was the one that got Mikey on the experimental last drug that he took. And she's a remarkable doctor, but she's also a researcher. And she found out that Mikey was so excited about science that she took him into her lab. So we got to walk through Dr. Scholler's research lab in the Van Andel Institute at the time. And it was so eye-opening to him, just so exciting to see these. It was all women too, which was pretty cool. We got to walk through and see the work that they were doing on actual tissues, you know, of tumors like his, and see the process that it goes through to try to find, you know, cures. So that was kind of a spark for him. Before we left that day, he was just feeling so sick, and he knew that he was getting worse. And he woke up from a nap and he said, "Mom, Dad, can I talk to you?" And we're like, "Sure, bud. What do you want to say?" And he was laying in his bed and he just looked at us. He goes, "I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to do." I'm like, "Okay, what are you going to do?" He goes, "I've made a decision." "Okay, what's your decision?" "I'm donating my body to science. That's going to be my gift. That's going to be my gift. I'm donating my body to science. And they're going to use me." And he says it just like this, "They're going to use me, however they can use me, so that they can find the cure with me. And then no one else has to go through this." And he was so excited. It was like his dream of being a scientist wasn't going to come true, but somehow he was still going to have an impact on science. And there was just like light in his eye. There's just the spark. He was just so excited by this.
Throughout his life, his mantra was, "I never want another kid to have to go through what I've gone through." And so the Swifty Foundation is going to be focused on pediatric cancer research, particularly the type of brain cancer that Michael has. Michael was being treated with drugs, some of which were 30 and 40 years old. And the reason for that is that today there's probably about 900 adult cancer drugs in the FDA pipeline, and there's literally only a handful of pediatric cancer drugs in the FDA pipeline, because there's just no market for pediatric cancer drugs. If they're ultimately not going to produce enough revenue to make that research and development worthwhile, in the end, it's the kids who are really losing.
So what we need is, number one, the incentive for drug companies to make pediatric cancer drugs. We have to have hospitals that are doing the research, like Dr. Scholler and Dr. Taylor, that are finding out about the actual tissues, the tumors, and what's going on with them and what's going to work, so that they can make the appropriate drugs to work on these tumors that are so different than adult tumors. And then we need people like Nancy Goodman working with Kids versus Cancer to get parents educated to know that we have to have their tissue. All those things have to be in place before there's going to be a cure.